month or so ago, I made a video covering the latest with Natalia Grace because there's been a lot that has went down since her documentary. She made a Facebook page, and I'm friends with her on Facebook, and she's been exposing the Mans family left and right. As I talked about in my last video, she revealed that for her documentary, she got paid $102,000, and the Mans family only got paid a couple thousand, but they convinced the producers to pay them in a lump sum with Natalia's money and their money all in one. So they paid them $104,000, and they ended up keeping all of it. Natalia ended up losing her SSI because she made too much to be able to qualify for that, even though the Mans took all the money. And then she ended up not getting any of her money that she received for going on the Dr. Phil show, which she claimed was like $30,000. And she just said there's a lot she went through. The Mans family came out on their TikTok page and they're like, "Oh, Natalia, it's okay. Jesus is going to forgive you for lying. We forgive you." And they even had their kids come on the TikTok and say, "Oh, Natalia, we forgive you." And we'll take a look at that clip here in a second. But Cynthia was trying to say, "Oh, Natalia's lying. She's trying to make it sound like she was just so controlled and she couldn't reach out to anyone outside the house, or she couldn't reach out to Neil because she was so controlled." And Natalia said, "Well, that's actually exactly how it was." She said this is directly from Neil, her boyfriend, and this is a receipt. And I think it was the Spanish shop they said it was that they were talking to each other through, because the Mans family pretty much cut off all other ways for her to communicate with Neil or anyone else. So she had to talk to him while she was supposed to be doing schoolwork, and she ended up having to change her username to "Find Me, I Know You Can." And that's how she had to send messages to Neil for a while. And luckily he was able to get the message and was able to eventually find her. She said, "Is this what someone who is a free adult would have to do? Is she was allowed her phone or contact with anyone, or is making everything up that she has said recently about you? Here's some receipts." The only way they could correspond with each other is by changing their usernames on this app, and that's how they would send messages. And she said, why would she ask for help using her profile name that she had to be so short on an app she didn't know I would remember she used? For help, to get away from you. Is this someone being blackmailed to leave by me, or is this someone finding a way to be saved from you? You can't have combos on that app, so we left messages by changing names to what we want to say, and it's public. That's right, public to everyone. So if I was blackmailing her, it would be seen and risky because the Mans were on her friends list. So why would she not directly message me or the DePauls or anyone directly? Why would she need to find a way to change her profile name on a learning app to get help? Keep lying, and in the same breath saying she's lying, as I have 2 years of proof that everything she said is the truth. So shout out to Neil for being the GOAT and holding on to all these receipts throughout these past few years. Natalia, if you've seen her Facebook post or saw my last video on this situation, she was calling out the Mans family and saying, "Look, I'm not the only kid you guys have put through this. You guys have been mean and yelled at your other kids." I want to say she accused him of spanking some of her siblings, but I can't say 100% for sure. I need to go back and look at my old video, but she was calling him out, and he ended up responding, and he said, "Look, I've raised generations and generations of children," and he said, "I've had children grow up, leave the house, and none of them have came out and exposed me or ever complained, so obviously I'm doing something right." And Natalia responded, and she said, "Your daughter, who currently lives with you, by the way, so would have to go with anything you say, as does everyone in that house." And I mean, I think that's a valid point, and we saw exactly how Natalia operated when she was living under the Mans roof, and when she finally left, that's when she finally slowly started to break her silence. And even then it took her a long time because how brainwashed she was. But she says, "So your daughter is denying any wrongdoing, Yet she left for the same reasons. She wanted out to live as she wanted, so you kicked her out for doing things you accused me of out of marriage with a guy that at the time you didn't agree with. And she lived with him and other stuff that isn't what you call godly, and other stuff that I'll say for court when you try using them for your cover-up. You didn't talk to her for 3 years. Only Cynthia did. You had her back only because she agreed with going back to church and repenting. Pics of the type of things that she put on Facebook while away from you to what she puts now with you will show that she's changed most of the profile from back then. You only have your kids live with you or speak to them if they do as you say. Saying your kids are speaking out, both of which have messaged me at one point agreeing with what it's like in that house. It's funny. Cynthia, there's other people from your family who told me things and agree that I should have got away. Save it for court, Antoine, and as you say, the truth will be out, and it will. Also, it's a little different, this situation, because those two haven't been conned out of loads of money and left with nothing and in debt through it. Not sure if they'd be standing by you right now if you had over $150,000 of their money for putting their life before being with you all over the internet, TV, and then you left them in debt and with nothing through it. Let's not also forget that even after I left, she was constantly asking me for money. Plenty of payment requests on my CASHAPP from her after I left home. In fact, I even sent money to her on several occasions on my before they stopped my SSI again, which will also be on my CASHAPP. And she's only making like $1,000 from her SSI before they cut it off. And here's Cynthia asking her for her money when they took over 100 racks from her. The audacity. But Natalia was even still sending it at one point. And she said, so yeah, before they stop my SSI again, which will also be on my CASHAPP. But no, I'm such a bad person that every time she needed help with money, she came to me, and when I had it sent to her and making a post saying I'm just making your family look bad, as if I decided to randomly start something. No, I was living my life peacefully, and Antoine starts with the threats and Cynthia blocking me and bringing it all back up after telling me she loves me for over a year. I'm fed up of being used. No, I'm not trying to make anyone look bad. I just won't have people trying to make me look bad with lies when they're the ones covering up so much and lying blatantly and using religion. And then after she went on this exposing spree on Facebook, next thing you know, she got hit with a cease and desist from the Mans family. She said, so you turn up out of nowhere on social media threatening me, saying all this stuff about me, but as soon as I come on here to defend myself, you silence me because you don't want people to know the truth. Everyone, the reason my posts are still up, even after getting this, is because it's all the truth, and there's nothing illegal about telling the truth. So they can't scare me into silence because I'm not afraid of the legal side of this, because every single thing I've said is the truth. This cease and desist was dated for September 24th, and it says, Dear Miss Mans, please be hereby informed that this law office has been contacted by Miss Cynthia Mans. It is Miss Mans' position that she has an excellent reputation and wants no one making any derogatory statements about her whatsoever, to include, but not limited to, in person, telephonically, electronically, third-party, texting, by social media, or otherwise. It says that Cynthia says that she wants any derogatory communications about her to be taken down immediately and to stop from this point forward. And he said that if she does not take those posts down, or if it continues, then she is considering taking legal action to protect her interest. And then the Mans family made a TikTok, and this is a TikTok I was talking about, where they had all their kids gather around the dinner table and say, Natalia, we understand that you're lying to protect yourself, but we forgive you, and Jesus forgives you. And it just was, I don't know, seemed like really gaslighty. I didn't like it, and I don't like how they're involving the kids. This is the video where the kids are saying, oh, we forgive you, Natalia, and you can just tell it seemed, in my opinion, like the man's family coached the kids on what to say before they started filming. And she said, I'm actually sharing this for you because all this shows and gives me is proof of your lies and manipulation. I'm not bothered or scared about sharing this because I know it's all untrue and I'm gonna prove it very, very soon. Defamation of character, because what you're saying isn't correct. Also, this is illegal because I had no knowledge that this was recorded, and they shared a phone call with Natalia where they're pretty much like talking Natalia. They're pretty much pushing Natalia to say what they wanted her to say. They're like, oh, you know, Neil blackmailed you? Does he have pictures of you? Natalia was just like, yeah, he has pictures, and she just kind of agreed. But from what I've seen with Natalia, she's not a very confrontational person. She'll kind of just say what you want to hear at the time to your face, and then once she's not face to face with you, that's when she'll really open up about what's really going on. And they had this conversation with her, and she says that she was not informed that she was being recorded without her consent, and she claims that she's going to handle all this with all the money that they allegedly took from her in court. So I would be very interested to see if this actually does happen, and if they do end up going to court, then I think the HBO cameras need to definitely be there to document it, because I know they try to say, oh, we're done with the Natalia Grace series, and try to act like the last season was the last one for good. But I think we need an update. Like, I want to meet Neil. I want an update on this court stuff once it does actually start popping off and happening, and just see like what Natalia is up to today. But let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.